I want to ask you, because I mean, one of the things that I came to realize after going through your book is that I need an assistant. I'm a company of one
Yes, you
guy.
do.
I was like,
Yep.
I got to do this company of one thing. I read the book, a few years ago. I was like, oh yeah, this is totally me. I don't want employees. I don't want contractors. I don't want any of these obligations, any of these headaches, any of these meatballs, causing me nightmares. So I went the company of one route. Now I figured out what my, what did you call it? The estimated hourly
Buyback
rate,
rate. Yeah,
buyback
your
rate.
buyback rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my buyback rate's about $4,000, right?
Yeah.
So I clearly need to get myself, an assistant. So can you talk about the notion of a company of one? I'm sure you're familiar with the concept in the book, right?
Totally. Yeah.
How does that like?
Well, here's the thing, and I guess I'll tell you a story. My buddy Mike, who you may know, he's from Toronto. He's given me permission to tell the story because he sent me these two messages on Facebook, and he read my book when it came out. Because he's one of those guys, kind of like us, Rich. We don't see each other often, but we're friends on social media. So like, he'd watch me, and he had put me in this like camp of hustler and aggressive and get shit done and just go and all this stuff. And he sends me this message after he reads my book. And he pretty much states that. He goes, I read your book. And first off, I want to apologize because I thought you were this way. And now that I've read your book, I realize you believe in the same things I believe in: work-life integration, family, health, balance. Like, it's aggressive balance. Cause like at the same time, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I get shit done. Like I'm not one that's going to sit on a beach and do nothing. Right. And that was like message number 1, 90-second or the 60-second cap on Facebook. And then it was fun because on the second one, he goes, and the other thing I want you to know is my last company left me, and I'm paraphrasing, okay, but left me essentially emotionally scarred, where I said I'd never want to do another company like that. So his new company has created this great life that he has, and he's happy with it. It's the company of one style because it provides all the things he wants, etc. But then he says, and this was the comma, but if I truly say I want to serve as many people as I say I do, then I've realized I'm full of crap because I could do way more if I implemented some of the stuff in your book, and I'm going to go do that. And I go, that's why I wrote the book. That's why the subtitle of the book is Create Your Empire, because first and foremost, I want to teach every entrepreneur how to create a life of unlimited creation that they never have to retire from. And that's an individualized area for every person. Whatever their output creatively is, I just want them to never feel constrained based on their time, what they can put out. That's why specifically in the book, I use Andy Warhol, I use Oprah, I use a ton of people to say, like, these very creative people, Steve Jobs, etc., that you guys all know, they implemented this stuff to actually live a high caliber life and create massive amount of output that served a lot of people in very unique and creative ways, right? That most people, until you learn this stuff, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know the author wrote a bunch of books and he's been dead for 20 years because there's a whole structure on how books are written. Like, I mean, it's just fascinating once you understand how some of these creative projects work. And so that would be my thing to you is like, I just want you to live a higher caliber of work, Rich, where if you are doing something, it is something that is green, lights you up. And I talk about this in the book. And B, makes that buyback rate go from 4 to 5 to 6 to 10,000, right? And if those two things are true, I just can't see a world where you wouldn't want to do that. And if that requires you to, and it could be a change of the vehicle that you're in, the business vehicle, so that you can get higher leverage. It could be definitely the assistant. I mean, it's just the lowest hanging fruit where you're like, hey, there's all these things I just don't want to do anymore that have to be done. And when I get that time back, I'm going to go work on these projects that are going to give me more leverage. I mean, that's the big thing. So there's 4 master skills. Okay. Naval Ravikant talked about this a long time ago. He's one of my mentors from the Valley. And Alex Hormozi renamed them to the 4 C's, right? And I really like it. Naval called them something else, but the 4 C's of the master skills is what I call it. Is first one is capital. We all know capital. So it's like, to the degree that you can master capital, you have one of the master skills of leverage. The second master skill is content. Now, content shows up in different format. Playbooks is a form. So can you create great playbooks that other people can follow to get the same results? Do you create content like this podcast? The fractional cost of 10 million people watching this versus 10 is 0. I'm pretty sure, right? Like there's no, maybe like it's on YouTube, it's hosted, whatever, no cost. Huge leverage content. Third is code, software, automation, and today AI, like fascinating. Like, AI isn't going to take your job. Somebody that's using AI is going to take your job right off the bat, period, full stop. And then the fourth C is collaboration. It's the people side, it's labor. And that's what I speak heavily about in my book is how do you create the structure where as you grow, you don't hire people to grow your business, you hire people to buy back your time, so that if you do it that way, it's impossible for you to actually build a life that you hate. It's impossible because you can't bring somebody onto your team unless they buy time out of your calendar, which makes your life better to go do the thing that only you can do. And you do it in a way following the buyback rate principle so that you don't also build what I see a lot of people do, which is build a top heavy company and then grow and make less profit.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.